I read Happy Place. Let's talk about it.
If I could ever turn back time and do it all again, you know that I would, you know that I would. And if I could live it every night and do it all again, you know that I would, you know I would. You and I loved so softly, like soft serve ice on a Sunday afternoon. Where did I lose someone like you? Gone too soon. And now I'm awake in the middle of the night, wishing I had a little more time, thinking how all the years kept flying by, flying by. I'm awake in the middle of the night, I knew that everything would be alright. And if I knew what the end would feel like, it feels like if I could ever turn back time and do it all again, you know that I would, you know that I would. And if I could live it every night and do it all again, you know that I would, you know I would. Cause I got no regrets, no regrets. Looking back, wouldn't trade with nobody else. Cause I got no regrets, no regrets. Looking back on what's left, I still would, you know I would. You and I in the midnight sky will always shine. I've wasted time, and if there's nothing left for me, I would go every place I could, I would see every face I should. But I know that I find all the time isn't on my side. And now I'm awake in the middle of the night, wishing I had a little more time, thinking how all the years kept flying by, flying by. I'm awake in the middle of the night, I knew that everything would be alright. And if I knew what the end would feel like, it feels like if I could ever turn back time and do it all again, you know that I would, you know that I would. And if I could live it every night and do it all again, you know that I would, you know I would. Cause I got no regrets, no regrets. Looking back, wouldn't trade with nobody else. Cause I got no regrets, no regrets. Looking back on what's left, I still would.
I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. It's probably one of my favorite reads that I read this summer. And I loved Harriet and Win and their story. I love Emily Henry books. I read all 3 of them last year over the summer. So like July onwards, I read all 3 of her books. And it feels weird just doing one book in this video, but I'm going to combine it with another thing later, but stay tuned for that. But I enjoyed this book so much, and reading it, I started reading it at the beach like I did with Beach Read last year. So technically I'm gonna make that a tradition. I'm going to like start Emily Henry books when I go to the beach for 4th of July. So this was so good. So Win and Harriet are like college sweethearts, and Harriet goes to college and she meets 2 of her new roommates, and they become like friends for life. It's one of those. It's so sweet. I wish I had something like that. And then she meets Win, and they just create this like found family. Like they like hang out, they love each other, they like move around for each other. It's so cute. I love their dynamic. Harriet and Win get together, so it's friends to lovers in the beginning of like their story, and like they become friends and then they eventually get together. But this is like done in the future, so it goes back and forth a little bit. You can see like how their relationship started, and then like what made them break up, because technically in this book they're not together. They are going to like their friendship college reunion thing where they vacation every summer, and it's just so cute how like the setting, and I just love this book so much. And I love just spending my summer afternoons reading this book, and it is a paperback, of course, but I also bought it on my Kindle, so I read both at the same time, as you saw in the beginning of this like reading vlog. So yeah. Oh, by the way, the paperback edition is because I bought it in the Philippines, and this is like the export edition, so it's like paperback when you buy it in another country, I guess. So yeah, I love this book. Really entertaining. 5 stars for me. And now that this video feels like it's so short, I'm going to talk you through the rest of the summer books that I read and like a little bit of a review about them. So I'm just gonna put the picture up because I don't really want to like get them out of my bookshelf, and a lot of them were on my Kindle as well. Happy Place was not the first book I read this summer. It was actually The Unhoneymooners. I feel like I started that first before any other book, and I talked about it in my July and August reading video, so I'm not gonna go too much into it, but I love that book. I gave that one a 4 stars, and it was really cute. Love the summer vibes of it, and I loved how the banter and enemies to lovers it was. That one was like really good. Enemies to lovers, really enjoyed that one. So that was like the first official book that I read this summer. I bought it last year and I was going to read it, but I never got around to it. So this summer it was perfect, and I just really enjoyed reading that, especially since I just came back from a 2-month vacation when I started reading it. So it like gave me all the summer vibes because I came back like right as summer was starting. The next book that I'm talking about, I was reading with Happy Place, and it was just the like tail end of The Unhoneymooners. So I read The Infinity Between Us. So I saw it on my Kindle. I was like looking for some Kindle reads while I was in the Philippines, but I decided it would be a good book to read once I got back here during the summer, and it definitely was because I read it at the beach as well with Happy Place. So I had my physical book and then my Kindle read, and I like this book. I gave it a 4 stars. But if you've read Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren and Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, I feel like they're the same books. All 3 of them have like similar like plot lines and stories, and if you read one of those you might not enjoy this. I unfortunately read those other 2, so reading this felt like a repeat. So if you're like me and don't like reading those kind of things back to back to back, then do not read those 3 together, because I feel like it's just the same story but with like different twists in each one. I did enjoy them separately. All 3 of them were 4 stars for me, but just reading them back to back to back would not been ideal. So definitely like pace yourself, or if you like that kind of thing, then go for it. I highly recommend you do it because you'll just get like all of them in one go. But I like to space mine out, so I read the other 2 before, and then this summer I read The Infinity Between Us, which definitely I recommend. Hopefully I don't have to read anything like that next summer. I'm gonna stay away from that. I am done with that. The whole like childhood friends to lovers summer lake house is a vibe, but after you read one, I feel like you read all of them. So it was a good read. Like I did enjoy reading it over the summer, but I'm burnt out on them. I'm not sure if you count these 2 as summer reads. I read them in the summer, so I feel like to me they were. It is To Love Jason Thorne and To Hate Adam Connor. I read them back to back, and I really enjoyed these 2. It was really fun reading them. Honestly, I don't know if it gives summer vibes. I mean, it was a light, fun read, so it was good for the summer, and I ended up reading them during the summer. So yeah, it is childhood friends to lovers, but it isn't the Summer Lake House, don't worry. That's the first book. It is childhood friends to lovers, and then he gets famous, and then she writes a book about her wanting him, and it's so fun, and I really loved it. He's so sweet. Jason Thorne is like a really sweet guy, and it's marriage of convenience as well. It had so many fun tropes. And then To Hate Adam Connor is an enemies to lovers single dad romance. I read it straight after To Love Jason Thorne, so I like got the full story, and it was really good. I suggest you read them back to back. Gave both of them 4 stars, and really fun reads. Highly recommend you read both of them. Now that the summer is almost over, maybe add it to your TBR, but they're not necessarily summer reads. I just read them in the summer, as I said. So speaking of duos, I read another one, which is the Avalon Bay series. Technically, it's 3 books. I only read 2 out of the 3 because it was on Kindle Unlimited. The third book is not for some reason, but I might read it next year. So I read The Good Girl Complex and Bad Girl Reputation by Elle Kennedy, and I love Elle Kennedy's books. I binged the whole Off Campus series and Briar U series last year. So I was like, yes, I need to read more by her, and it was on my summer TBR. I really enjoyed those books, so I was hoping to enjoy these, but unfortunately I didn't. I did give Good Girl Complex a 2-star, I believe, 2.5 stars. I really wasn't vibing with it, but it did give summer vibes, so if you read it in the summer, it's perfect for that. And I liked I liked Bad Girl Reputation more. That I gave a like 3.5 stars. It was pretty good. That one also, it didn't have as like much summer vibes as the first one, I feel like, though. So yeah, it had like a university student and they are dating twins. So it was pretty good. I think it was an okay series. I still am going to give the third book a chance, but I might read it next summer because I'm starting to move away from my summer romances. So these are like the last few books that I am reading for the summer. So I feel like this year I haven't read as many as last year. Last year I was just like going through like my summer TBR like crazy. And this year I feel like there's not many books on my summer TBR that caught my eye and that I really wanted to read. Then I read Big Summer. I mean, it has summer in the title, so of course I feel like it is a summer book. This one was not a romance, it was a mystery, and I feel like this would have been a good like day at the beach kind of book where you want like a summer read but have a mystery in it. This would have been perfect for that. I wish I would have bought this book like before I went to the beach. I did my whole book shopping trip after I went to the beach, so I feel like if I did, it would have been like the perfect like laying around by the pool, by the beach, on the sand kind of book. I gave it 3 stars. Technically I would rate it probably 3.75 because I did enjoy it. It was pretty entertaining. I loved the twists and turns and how it became like a summer like beach getaway, and then there was like a mystery involved with her like childhood frenemy, and it was pretty good. I talk more about it in my August reading wrap up, which I don't know when it's coming out, but I did read it towards the end of August. The last book that I'm going to mention in this video is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. So I talked about her first book, Every Summer After, a little bit in this, but I technically read that last summer. So I read her book that she released this summer, and this one took place at a lake house again. A lot of these like technically that was a lake resort, and I feel like I missed the opportunity to read this in a summer location. I read it in a courthouse because I was on jury duty and I was trying to get through my TBR. It wasn't smart of me. Highly recommend reading summer reads in a summery location. I did give it a 3 stars. I do a whole in-depth video because I just filmed my August reading wrap up, so I talk more about that. It was like a second chance romance, but technically they only met once 10 years ago. They were supposed to meet up again, they never met up, and then he comes back to the lake house and they start something up, and you can see why it's like a point of view now and then 10 years ago. It was one of those. I did enjoy it, and it's not anything like the other three that I mentioned. I was afraid it was going to be like The Infinity Between Us and like Love in Other Words and stuff like that, but it wasn't. It had a different premise. So if you're planning on reading that, I highly recommend you do. It was a pretty good book, and the last book I read that had like summer vibes, I feel like that was everything that I read over the summer, plus my review of Happy Place and me reading it with you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog. I'm gonna transition from summer to fall hopefully in the next week or so. I'm gonna stop blabbering and wrap up this video. I do hope you enjoyed watching. I will link my Goodreads, since I mentioned it a few times in this video, as well as my Bookstagram and my TikTok, so my book TikTok. I make a lot of content over there if you want to check that out. And that is it for today's video. I do hope you enjoyed watching. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye everyone!